Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Brain Dead. A mind is a terrible thing to taste.
Directed by David Tenney, who also directed films like Pinocchio's Revenge, Night of the Demons, and Witchboard, starring Joshua Benton, David Crane, Sarah Grant Brendecke, Andy Forrest, Michelle Tomlinson, and Christina Tiberia. This is a zombie film about a space amoeba that comes to Earth. It burrows itself into somebody's head, and they become zombies. In order to transfer their zombieism onto others, they spew black tar on them. An unlikely group of people are stuck in a cabin, and they need to defend themselves against these zombies and the space amoebas. This movie was recommended by Deke from our Patreon. He's our top D. This is a really low tier movie. I mean, it has Jim Wynorski in it. So you know what kind of movie it's gonna be. So here we go. What do we like?
This is definitely has the 80s throwback feel to it. Like, the characters are over the top, the situations are just ridiculous, and the story itself isn't the best written, but it's enjoyable. Like, it's something that you could just sit down and watch and you don't have to think too much about it. You can be brain dead even.
I like that we had like a wide range of characters. We had like a lesbian, we had a reverend, we had a sister, we had a convict, we had like the funny guy, and we had a sorority sister. So they all have their own stereotypical aspects to them. And it's fun to see like their interactions between themselves. My favorite is definitely Joshua Benton, who played Clarence. This guy was like the comic relief, and every single line that came out of his mouth was some dad joke. It was just like some kind of punchline.
Not bad for a starter. Guess we could always trade up later.
Not all of them hit, of course. You're either like shaking your head because it's so cringy, or you're laughing because it's still really cringy.
This isn't my regular job. I'm just working for him until I get my degree.
Degree? In what?
Running and hiding.
And I'd like to think that all of our characters were very good. Bob was like the idiot, so his comic relief was a little different.
Those were the handcuff keys.
Son of a bitch!
We had our sorority sisters, who ended up being a stronger character than what I thought they were going to be. And the Reverend, I didn't know if I was going to like him or hate him, but near the middle of the film, I actually enjoyed his character. It was just like one of those things where it's like, I can't wait to see you die because I know it's going to happen, but you have some strong ambitions in life.
He's trying to get laid. He's trying to bang the sister. And she seems to be digging it, to be honest. She popped her tarp immediately.
He has sent me here to relieve you of your throbbing.
That's one thing that almost every single female character did in this movie.
Almost the introduction of any woman in the movie, a minute later, they're naked. And we do see full frontal like twice, too.
And we have a really awkward POV vagina cam thing.
Yeah, I don't think that was necessary at all. That's something that, like, we're used to seeing in something like Death Escort Service, not necessarily a zombie movie.
Yeah, well, you know, Jim Wynorski was starring in this. I could just see him sitting there.
Hey, man.
You know what this needs?
The effects in this movie are excellent. It does definitely seem like a low-tier, low-budget movie, but the special effects are great. Like, the first kill that we see is a head getting just, like, split in half, and like a brain just getting ripped out of it, and it's amazing.
Plus, I enjoyed the makeup effects. We had the zombie cop who looked like a werewolf.
I didn't like the other one.
The main zombie?
The main zombie looked like old Greg. It looked like trash. But the rest of it's really good.
I don't necessarily know that I liked this, but they did manage to do it correctly. And that was the match cuts.
It just didn't make sense, from like eating someone to a cut to a sandwich, or the dude kicking the toy car and then next shot's a Jeep. It wasn't necessary, but you know, they were well done, I guess. Now let's move on to our dislikes. I thought the middle of this movie was kind of boring. I mean, I did like everybody involved, and I thought they were doing a fun job, and like it was a pretty fun movie, except for when they're all six are in the cabin. It was just kind of like boring. They're just sitting around.
Yeah, they didn't space out the deaths well enough in this film. And I think that's the biggest issue, is they start off strong, we get a few really cool kills, and then it's just like a dry spell for about 20-25 minutes of the film, and then it goes right back into like high impact killing. You're just like starting high, you're dipping low, and then you're going back up, which is like reverse story arc.
Right. And maybe that's because I didn't really like the Reverend also. Like, he was kind of like trying to pick up this chick.
I wanted this time to enjoy our fellowship.
And I didn't really like the convict guy.
Bob?
Yeah, I didn't like him. Like, the only characters I really liked were the two sorority sisters and Clarence. Those three were great. The other three, not so great.
Some of the elements of the film were really weird. We have one of the deputies who appears to be one of the more stronger characters and someone who could be a protagonist, and she just kind of died out of nowhere, which was odd. Like, her death was great, but it didn't feel as though her character was developing for like a one-off kill.
I also didn't like that they started the movie off with like an interview with Clarence as he was like supposedly the murderer behind all of this, which is not the case. I mean, it's a friggin' amoeba.
Yeah, because then you know he survives. That's not a good thing when you're doing a zombie survival movie. You want to let the audience guess who's going to make it out and who's not going to make it out. Because when you see that right at the beginning, you know 90 minutes in, he's going to be the guy walking out.
I'm going to have to say that I didn't really love the music. I don't know why. It seemed like a kid's adventure movie, the way that the music was. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Braindead is a weird zombie movie that I think most of you would enjoy. It's really fun, it's upbeat, and it's hilarious. There are a lot of graphic kills, which is excellent, but unfortunately I did think that the story wasn't really anything at all. I didn't love about half of our cast. They have moments, but for most of the time there's 3 characters that I couldn't give a shit about. And unfortunately they last way too long in this movie. If you like low-budget movies and low-budget zombie movies at that, then you're probably going to enjoy this. But I'm going to give this 2 dope-ass space intros out of 5.
The best part of this film is definitely the practical effects. The kills that you see are actually very well done, and it's nice to have these on-screen kills in a low-budget zombie film. The story isn't the strongest, but I do appreciate the campy nature. The humor involved with the characters can be funny, but sometimes it can be a little cringeworthy. I do feel that this film would have been better if they spaced the kills out instead of leaving a dry spell in the middle, because then it would have had me more engaged with what was going on instead of just waiting for the zombies to attack. But it was still a fun time, and if you love zombie movies and you like really cheesy zombie movies, then you're definitely going to love this one. So with that being said, I'm going to give this film 3 parkour zombies out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't, there are links in the description where you can find it. And if you want the opportunity to recommend a film for us to review, definitely check out our Patreon. Links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.